Welcome to Video Game Compendium with your hosts Ian and Casey. Today we are going to be trading for Charizards. Hey Casey.
What?
What's your favorite Pokemon?
I would have to say my favorite Pokemon is... I would probably go with Charizard.
Because you're a sellout?
No, yeah, I mean, that's like the cop-out answer, because Charizard's pretty badass, but I'm gonna say Electabuzz.
Electabuzz?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, random, right?
Never in a million years would I have expected you to say Electabuzz. Why is that?
Just because he's cool. And,
okay.
like, he's underappreciated as a Pokemon, I think.
No, for sure. No, I see, I can get behind it. Just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So is he your favorite of the first 150, or just favorite of all time?
I would say, like, favorite of all time. Like, okay. Electabuzz is, like... Because he always looks like... Because he's, like, in that macho position, plus he's a Thunder type. Like, I don't know. He's just really cool. And then,
Thunder
like...
type. Electric type.
Thunder type, electric type, whatever. You know? To me, like... The coolest Pokemon are usually the ones that either look cool or have cool moves. Okay. And what?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and I really only played through, like, Gold and Silver and then Crystal. Like, those are the ones that I played through the most. And then, obviously, Red and Blue.
Right. And then you got tired of people picking on you for playing Pokemon? So you stopped playing Pokemon?
No.
Okay. Well, that's happened to me. Anyway, did you play the trading card game?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
no.
The card game or the Game Boy Color game?
First one, then the other. The actual card game.
I played the actual card game, yes.
Did you play it, or did you just buy and trade cards?
No, I played it.
You played it? Okay.
Yeah. And I traded cards.
Okay. And the Game Boy game?
And I played the Game Boy game.
Okay. I guess technically it's the Game Boy Color game.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was one of the Game Boy Color games that you could play on the Game Boy because it still had the little notch on it that allowed you to play it on a Game Boy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't exclusive to the Game Boy Color, but it was a Game Boy Color game because it actually had color sprites.
Yeah, it had a bunch of capabilities. Do you remember the Super Game Boy?
For Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah, yep, sure do.
Yeah, it had custom border. Because, you know, when you played those games on a CRT, different aspect ratio, or different... aspect ratio, that's what I meant to say.
That's what.
Yeah, so they would put those borders in, and the Pokemon, the card game, had its own unique borders.
Yeah. So did Red and Blue.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that rings a bell now that I think about it.
Yep. Yeah, the Super Game Boy was cool.
The Super Game Boy was super cool. Actually... pun unavoidable. So, the game files for Pokemon, the card game, which is what I'm going to call it, we're going to be talking about the Pokemon Trading Card Game on Game Boy Color, for those who haven't figured that out by now. I'll just call it Pokemon the Card Game, if that's okay.
TCG.
Yeah.
For GBC.
True. Hold on. All right, let's get the boring stuff out of the way real quick.
Okay.
So it was released on December 18th, 1998 in Japan on the Game Boy Color, and in the US, it was released on April 10th, 2000.
Damn, they waited 2 whole years to give it to us.
Yeah, but it actually took us a long time to get the actual trading card game.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't get that until, I think, end of 1999. I feel like I had that date written down here. Oh, yeah. January 9th, 1999. So I was wrong. Beginning of 1999.
Oh, okay. So
still a good, year and a half before we got the Game Boy game.
So but the delay kind of made sense.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense because they got the actual Game Boy game before we got our trading card game.
Right.
So, what are you going to do? So, in total, it sold 3.7 million copies globally.
Not too bad.
Not bad. Would you think that's more or less than Pokemon Snap?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say less, though. Because Pokemon Snap was kind of a popular title, and N64 was pretty big. But
okay, so you think Snap sold more? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, actually, the trading card game outsold Pokemon Snap by a couple thousand.
Oh, by a couple thousand?
Yeah.
Damn.
But it's nothing compared to Red and Blue. Do you know how many that sold?
20 million.
Okay, so the card game on Game Boy sold 3.7 million. Red and Blue combined sold 31.4 million.
That's a pretty solid number.
That's like close to 10 times, right?
Are you what about Green? Because Green was also included in Red and Blue, actually.
I have a link to my source. Let me check that real quick.
All right. Yeah, Green was only released in Japan, and for those who didn't know, and it featured Bulbasaur on the front, and surprisingly was not a bad game because it featured all the Pokemon from both Red and Blue, so it was the superior of all the versions of Pokemon. So those who argue Blue was better or Red was better are both wrong. It was actually Green that was the best.
But we got Yellow. Didn't Yellow have all from Red and Blue?
Yeah, but Yellow came out in Japan as well. I'm saying, like, of the original set, because Yellow came out later in the timeline.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't specify if Green is counted, but
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I would assume that's part of the original set of games. So.
Right.
There was a sequel, Pokemon Card GB2, Here Comes Team Great Rocket. As you can tell by the name, that was not released in the United States.
Yeah.
They probably would have come up with a more succinct title for that.
Right. Something like
Pokemon Card Game.
Trading Card, yeah. Because, they never keep the flashy titles.
I know. The titles are so good. It's like a whole sentence.
Yeah. They always have the whole sentences in Japan, and then in America it's like,
Blue.
number 2. So that came out, the second one came out when?
Not too long after the first one did in Japan.
Okay.
I don't have a date for it since we didn't get it.
I do.
Oh, you do? You
March 28th, 2001.
Okay, so that was a little while after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what else do we have about the trading card game?
So, yeah, to wrap up the sequel, it was pretty much the same as the first one. They just added more of the cards that were from the Dark set, is what we got, or the Team Rocket set.
Oh, that was a good set, too.
Yeah.
They had some cool Pokemon in there. Yeah, or cool cards.
Yeah, for sure. The Dark Golbat was pretty dope.
Yeah, and the Dark Charizard was actually really dope.
Yeah, that's true. I never saw that one IRL. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so just explain a little bit more. The first game was the base set, and then the Jungle and Fossil expansions.
Okay.
So basically, what we all were buying and trading when Red and Blue were out. Right.
And I remember, when those came out, surprisingly, even though I was fairly young at the time.
Yeah, it was 17 years ago.
So, who developed the game? Was it the same developers as Pokemon?
I don't have that in my notes, but no, it wasn't developed by Game Freak. Was it? Are you going to fact check me on this?
It was Creatures Inc. and Hudson Soft.
Yeah, Hudson Soft basically developed it. Creatures Inc. was like this, from what I understand and what I've been looking up, it's basically like a holding company for the Pokemon IP before the Pokemon Company was born.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah. And when it was released in the US, it came packaged with a promotional Meowth card.
Right.
So for the actual TCG, there was basically an exclusive card you could only get if you bought the game.
That's right.
Meowth. That's right. Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, you can find that card on eBay. It's pretty cheap. Japan's release came with a Dragonite, which was much cooler than our Meowth.
Yeah, what the hell, man? I want a fucking Dragonite.
I know. I think whoever was marketing it thought, oh, the kids love that show with a Meowth. Let's put a Meowth on there.
Yeah, little did they know, Meowth is the most annoying.
Yeah, he's a little pest. So the coolest thing I think about the localization of this game is that it's not just, a language translation. They created all new assets to make the booster packs in the game look like the booster packs that we were buying in America. Mm-hmm. And some of the cards are different too, to match the artwork we got versus the artwork that Japan got with their trading cards.
Okay.
And like the start screen looks like the back of a Pokemon card for our version. And then, as you probably know, the back of the cards in Japan were much different. So the start screen looked like that, which
yeah.
Respect. That was pretty cool.
So this was published by Nintendo, correct?
Yeah.
One factoid I'm going to throw at you that you may not know. One of the head producers of this went to be the president of the Pokemon Company.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Who was that?
Sunikazu Ishihara.
Okay. Ishihara. Okay. Yeah, I thought I did the whole basic who did what and where are they now outline, but I can't find it in this version, so thanks for looking that up.
Got you.
Back. So, the game itself, it had 226 unique cards in the game that you could acquire.
Okay.
And then it had this card pop feature. Did you do anything with that?
I vaguely remember.
Remember that at all?
Yeah, it was, you got it if you traded, or...
So, in future games, they called this mystery gift, like in the DS titles.
Yeah.
Basically, you would just connect your copy with someone else's, and you would get a one-time, bonus card. And there are some cards that are exclusive to this card pop feature. Thing is, you could only use it once per, friend. So they have a copy, you have a copy. You could only link it once.
Okay. So,
then
that friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, some of the cards in here are the most difficult to get just because of that clause on it, essentially. Oh, and it was cool. It actually used the IR blaster on the Game Boy Color.
Okay, so for those who don't know what an IR blaster is...
Oh, that was that little thing on the top of the Game Boy Color. There's a remote control.
Right. That was
infrared transmitter and receiver.
There you go.
Yeah, so you would have to point two Game Boys at each other so that beams of light could bounce from one to the other.
There you go. Sorry, it's just some people don't know what an IR blaster is.
That's true. Actually, so side anecdote, I was playing the Bomberman game on Game Boy Color on a road trip, and there's this warp that you had to do on one of the levels, or a couple of the levels. It was a recurring mechanic, and you had to find a television remote and point it at your IR sensor, and then push a random button just to get some flickering going, and then it would teleport you. And I was playing this on a road trip. No TV remotes in the car, so I had to stop playing the game. I got so mad.
That's a fucking random shit.
Okay, cool gimmick, but this is a portable device.
Right.
People aren't going to be playing it on their couch all the time. Anyway, that was a tangent. So, technically, if you did this card pop feature with enough friends, it would start to overwrite the list of friends that you had traded with, so you could repeat, but I think there was 64 friends you had to to trade with before that register circled back around and started getting overwritten.
That would make sense. 64 bits or bytes. Or...
Yeah, it's 64 or 32, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the time this game was released, these pop cards didn't have a counterpart in the physical trading card game that was being printed by Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
But since then, I think all of the cards have made it into the actual trading card game as promotion cards.
All the pop cards that they had in the game?
Yeah, so every card in the Pokemon Game Boy trading card game exists in real life.
Ah, I gotcha.
At this time.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool?
That's neato, man.
Super neato. So the other 226 basic cards that are in the game, the card art follows what we're familiar with in the Wizards of the Coast printing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat, if I have to be honest. Even going back and doing the research for this and looking at the images, it's pretty impressive how they were able to capture a very nice detailed illustration with the limited color palette and the limited number of pixels that they had back then.
Yeah, no, I looked at some screenshots before we started this just to kind of take a peek at it again, because I haven't played it in God knows how many years, because I played it a lot when I was younger. And I do remember, it brought back all these memories, but I do I do remember everything looking great, and I was like, wow, they really did a good job on these graphics. Graphically, it was a great looking game for the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, it definitely stands out as one of the best looking that I've played.
Well, I guess, even though, granted, there's still images, there's no moving parts to it, but it still looks great. The art design was great.
Yeah, so big props to the people involved in that. I couldn't really find too much info about who was involved with the image localization and stuff, but yeah, they did a really nice job.
They did a great job. Good job, guys, if you're ever listening to this.
We thank you.
We thank you.
So the 226 unique cards, most of them you get through booster packs. You would challenge people, you would win, and they would give you a booster pack. Was the main flow of the game. I'll touch more on that in a minute, but I do want to note that the Ditto and the Electrode that we're used to from the actual trading card game are a little bit different in the Game Boy version. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Why were they different?
Because their moves were a bit too complicated to reproduce in the Game Boy engine. The engine that they had developed for the flow of the game, it was kind of like throwing a wrench into it when they tried to implement the abilities they had.
All right.
So for example, Electrode. So in the Game Boy game, his moves were changed to Sonic Boom, which just does 30 damage regardless of weakness and resistance, and then Energy Spike, which allowed you to search your deck for a basic energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And in the actual trading card game, I think the Energy Spike was an ability to attach Electrode to a Pokemon as an energy.
Oh.
So you can see how that would kind of be a bit of a mess to try and implement.
Yeah. I could see that.
And then Ditto, I think he would, in the card game, he would just copy the other person's move. The other active Pokemon's moves. As long as he wasn't paralyzed or confused.
I can see how that would be also very difficult to implement.
Yeah, so they gave him Pound, which is a move, which is a move he can't learn in the video games.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, which just does 10 damage. And then they did give him a Morph, but here, let me look this up. Oh, yeah, Morph. Remove all damage counters from Ditto. For the rest of the game, replace Ditto with a copy of a basic Pokemon card other than Ditto chose at random from your deck. So that's a move that works well in the game, but doesn't work well IRL, right? Right. How do you randomly select a basic Pokemon card from your deck?
Right.
So that was interesting, right?
That is pretty interesting.
So some of the cards were like promotion cards IRL, and those you could only get through specific trades with people in the game, like the surfing Pikachu. I don't know if you remember that one. It was just Pikachu on a surfboard.
Yeah, surfing Pikachu was awesome, you mean?
Yeah. And then Arcanine or Rapidash, you had to have one and trade it for the other.
Wait, you did?
Yeah, in the game.
Oh.
But I think, the Arcanine you could get in booster packs, and then you had to trade that for something that you could only get through this specific trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arcanine and Rapidash.
I think it was Rapidash. I know one of them was Arcanine, that's for sure. Yeah, but the flow of the game, it was basically, a Pokemon game, right?
Right.
You pick your starter, and then you would get a deck based off of it. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. And you had a rival. His name was Ronald.
McDonald.
Ronald McDonald.
That's what I would have named him.
And you could get promo cards by beating him, because he would come back like Gary did, like every once in a while to kind of check your progress.
And I'd be like, where them cheeseburgers at?
So funny.
I'm hilarious.
Very much so. Yeah, so they're still in Elite Four. They're called the Grandmasters. And you wouldn't get to walk around in the overworld like you did in Pokemon, like going on the different routes to get to the towns and all that. You just kind of warp from one club to another.
Yeah.
And they had their themes, like the Psychic Club and the Electric Club.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
That was a fun little thing to do when you're like warping. What didn't the game get banned somewhere?
I mean, nowhere that Pokemon wasn't banned broadly, as far as I know.
Oh.
Because some places Pokemon was banned in general, and as a result, this game would have been banned.
Hold on.
Do you know of something?
I'm looking. Yeah, it was banned in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but Pokemon was banned in Saudi Arabia, right?
I am not aware of that. It might have been.
Yeah, because of evolution.
No, it promoted Zionism, supposedly.
Yeah, that's Pokemon in general.
Because it had the Star of David, apparently.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I guess. Well, this game, I don't think specifically had the Star of David or anything that looked like a 6-pointed star in it, but something related to Pokemon did at one point, and so they banned everything that was Pokemon.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for the kids out in
Saudi Arabia. Missed out on all the
Can't
Pokemans.
play the Pokemans. Nope.
So what else you got for me about the Pokemon Trading Card Game?
Comparing it to the other Pokemon games, yeah, we just did that. You could pick up the video game and learn how to play the trading card game, which was pretty cool. So kind of cross pollinating those two markets.
That's cool.
Video game players getting them into the card games, and then card game players getting them into the video games.
That's a good way to expand your cash flow. If you're like, hey, we need money from two different areas, but we want to make the same thing. Here we go. Video game and cards. Which
to this day they're still doing there is a Pokemon trading card game online. And when you when you buy booster packs IRL, you get a code that you can type in, and it'll unlock a booster pack for you in the game.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
it is pretty cool. It's actually a lot of fun. That the trading card game online focuses a lot more on PvP, so playing against real people.
Right.
It would be really cool if they had something more like the trading card game, where there was an Elite Four, where there was more objectives. There were NPCs you could trade with. Or just NPCs you could fight? There are NPCs you can fight. Oh. But they're not rewarding battles. Right. Yeah. And one thing that the Game Boy game would be great if the online TCG had. In the Game Boy game, there are 50 pre-built decks.
Dang.
And all you have to do to unlock the deck is just own all the cards in the deck.
And it just unlocks it.
Yeah. So you get all these booster packs, and then it goes, oh, hey, here's a structured deck we've made that is like a good starting point if you wanted to run some of these new cards that you have.
Okay.
Because in the online card game, you get a lot of cards, and it's just, for people starting out or people getting back into it, it's kind of a lot of work to put together new decks with all your new cards.
Well, it'd probably be very overwhelming, too, especially with all the new stuff that's out.
Yeah.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So, IRL trading card game, I think all but one Pokemon has a card now. There's only one Pokemon in the series that doesn't have a trading card yet.
Do you know which one?
I forget the name of it, but it's one of like the legendaries. And he's probably going to get his own series. Or so he's going to be like the Charizard of that series, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So that plus all of the new training cards. And they have Pokemon tools that you can attach to them to equip to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, the game has expanded a lot since people like you and I have left it. So it's kind of a lot to get into.
Well, they re-released the trading card game for the 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah, they took out the card pop functionality in that.
Well, they kind of had to. Well, they didn't have to.
No.
But I guess it probably would have been harder to implement it than to just cut it out completely.
Yeah, exactly. The trading's been removed from it, too.
That came out in 2014.
Yeah. So it's not bad to have that little throwback, but it would be nice to see them kind of return to that or revisit this type of game.
Yeah, because, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does it every year.
With a video game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Releases a brand new actual console game every year.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I never was.
I played DBZ cards, too.
DBZ cards was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I stayed far away from because I thought it looked really kiddish, and it came up after Pokemon, so I was already in a grade where it wasn't cool to play Pokemon. So playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a huge step back.
Oh,
and, I
you were
gave
just too
social
cool
pressures. Yeah. No, I was a big old nerd. Anyway, I've been playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links game on mobile.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that. I wish the Pokemon trading card game online was more like Duel Links.
Yeah, I think one of my friends plays that. But yeah, I kind of wish they would release another console-based trading card game to play, because I would honestly probably pick it up and give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was doing the research for this, but honestly, it makes more sense as a mobile game. I'm pretty convinced of that. I know that goes against all of your beliefs, but truthfully, something where it's event-driven, there's constantly new cards being added and new challenges and new stuff. It just makes more sense as a mobile game, in my opinion.
Right.
But getting back to Pokemon, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's a character called Imakuni.
Yeah, Imakuni.
You know about this guy? This character?
Yeah, Imakuni. He had the ears.
Yeah.
I had one of the rarest cards that you could get at the time, the Imakuni's the Duo.
Yeah.
I actually had the card from Japan.
Oh, really?
Yep. When I went to Japan, I got a booster pack and got the card.
You got a single booster pack, and it was the one.
I swear,
Imakuni's. Was that one of the first secret rares where they did card 101 out of 100?
Yeah, it was a white star rare or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you know anything about the actual Imakuni?
I know that it was based off of a composer or something.
Something like that. Yeah, he did the polka rap for the Japanese version of the show.
Oh.
He was just this kind of entertainer comedian type person who dressed up in a black suit. He had almost Mickey Mouse ears, like, sticking out of his head.
Yeah.
He was pretty bizarre. Very, very Japan entertainment. So he was in the trading card game.
Right.
The trading card game, the game. Did you ever encounter him?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have any idea what was going on when you battled him?
No. And I remember not knowing what the hell was going on because I was like, what the shit is going on?
Yeah, like when you encounter him, he's dancing in a corner next to a bookshelf.
Yeah.
And you had to like talk to some NPCs and then warp all over the place to try and catch him to get him, to fight you. And then he had his own music when you would fight him. And he had his own deck that like no other character in the game used. And he had the Imakuni trainer card, which would confuse your own active Pokemon.
Didn't he give you a special card if you beat him, though?
Yeah. He gave you that card.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, playing the game as a kid, I had no idea what the heck was going on. I didn't know this guy was involved with Pokemon in any way or, just what the hell was happening. Because some other people involved with Pokemon are in the game.
Right.
Like the guy who created Pokemon is in the game, and you can trade with him to get special cards. But this dude, he had his own weird music and his own deck, and
and then you just think you're on a bad acid trip when you play against him.
Yeah, because it's so bizarre that the trainer is confusing his own Pokemon, and you're like, what the actual hell is going on here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he had his special deck. He had 2 standard Slowpokes and 2 copies of a Slowpoke variant that was not released in the English trading card game.
Oh.
And then, yeah, he had a special battle music, and you had to take 6 prize cards to beat him. And then after he beat him, he would give you just a random booster pack, and then if you beat him 3 times, you would get the Imakuni trainer card.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, his special card, you have to beat him 3 times to get that. He has illustrated 29 of the Pokemon cards.
And they're the really wacky, cartoony ones, right?
Some of them are. But then some, like Porygon.
The 3D looking one?
Yeah, the 3D looking one. He did Porygon.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so fun fact, Porygon was my first Pokemon card ever.
Okay.
My dad brought it home because he found it. He used to work on buses, and he brought it home one day and said, hey, somebody left this behind. And we don't know who, so here you go.
That's pretty dope. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
So did you know what the card game was at that point? Or is this your literal ticket into the card game?
I knew it existed and I knew what it was, but that was like my first tangible, like, I have a Pokemon card. I want more now.
That's what started it.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So now I know that this crazy acid
you have a bond with this Imakuni character.
Yeah. God damn it.
Alright, so one more thing, tying it full circle back to the Super Nintendo, or the Super Game Boy. Mm-hmm. There was an unused border for the Super Game Boy that was, it had like 8 little divots, 4 on each side.
Yeah.
And it looked like what they were trying to accomplish was once you would beat one of the lounges, like you would get the pin for that lounge. So it would be like tracking your progress to the Elite Four. Because all of the borders for the Super Game Boy, none of them were like interactive or were used as like a secondary heads-up menu or something.
Right.
So that would have been phenomenal if they got that to work.
But it didn't work like that, did it?
Yeah, no, I guess they gave up on it. But the assets are still there in the game files.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It would have been much cooler if they actually pulled it off, but...
Yeah, but cool that they had, that foresight, or that...
The thought, even.
The thought, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty groundbreaking.
Idea men. That's what they are.
For sure. So yeah, that's the Pokemon Trading Card Game Boy Color, the game.
Pokemon Trading Card Game for Game Boy Color.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was repeating what you said.
Yep.
And a 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah, it's on that. So, Nintendo, we would love if you did another one of these. That would be amazing. Stop letting Pokemon Go be a thing, because that's going nowhere.
I mean, but Pokemon Go is gonna be a thing.
No.
People keep playing it.
That's another episode, maybe.
So to go over some of the other like people that were involved, the director of the game was Koji Arai.
Okay.
Some of the other producers: Shinichi Nakamoto, Takahiro Izushi. The composer was Ichiro Shimakura. And then it lists 3 programmers here in the information I have.
Okay.
Masahiro Tobita, Satoshi Mikami, and Masaki Sumori.
You're very good at pronouncing those names.
Is that sarcasm?
No, I'm being genuine.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I remember, they're very Pokemon, like the original series, aligned people involved in this game.
Yeah.
So they took care of it. They made sure that it, aligned with the actual card game and what they were trying to do. So I think that's a lot of why this game was such a success, and it wasn't, a cash grab type situation.
Doing just a quick search on Ichiro Shimakura, he is worked on Mario Party. He was a sound director for Mario Party DS. He worked on Bomberman 64. He did sound effects. He worked on Do Re Mi Fantasy as a sound programmer. Wow,
that's quite the resume.
Yeah, Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. So he worked on a lot of Nintendo games as like either music or sound effects, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Bomberman, like, what?
Well, yeah, HAL did Bomberman, right?
Huh?
Bomberman 64? Didn't HAL Laboratories do Bomberman 64?
Hudson.
Oh,
probably.
Hudson. That's right, Hudson Soft.
Yeah, and he worked for Hudson, it looks like. So, yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm guessing that a lot of the people that worked on this had pretty impressive resumes, because the game was fun, and it got
really good.
It got the aggregator, an aggregate scores from Game Rankings says 81.25, which, I mean, basically 8 out of 10. It's a solid score.
It is, because for Pokemon enthusiasts and trading card game players, the game is exactly what you would want.
Right.
For anybody who wants something else, I feel like they would stay so far away from a trading card game that, they would never pick it up and have a bad experience.
Right.
I kind of miss the days where games were that siloed and they weren't trying to pull in everyone and trying to beat too many things.
Yeah, well, this game was literally exactly what it says it is. Pokemon Trading Card Game. It's literally nothing else.
Yep. Simpler times. Yeah. You got anything else you wanna add about this?
No, I just wanted to go over some of the key people. I figured that would be a good way to kind of finish it up. Yeah. Unless you had something else.
Nope. I've reached the end of my notes.
The end of your notes.
End of the notes.
All right.
Yeah. Well, so that wasn't too bad. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I don't think it's our worst one.
Hopefully you all learned something about Pokemon Trading Card Game, or at least were entertained by the fact that Pokemon Trading Card Game, I just like saying the whole title, Pokemon Trading Card Game. Were you enjoyed or had some nostalgia bomb about the Pokemon Trading Card Game, because I guarantee a lot of you played it.
Yeah. And if there's more people out there like me who dropped it after the jungle and fossil expansions and really kind of have no idea what's going on right now in it, I'm starting to get back into it a bit more. And so if you want some content sort of covering what's happened in the trading card game since then, I might be able to put some stuff out relating to that. It's not strictly video game related, but it's something I'm interested in. So if anybody wants some of that content, let us know.
Also, make sure to give us some feedback on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, at VG Compendium.
YouTube.
Hit up our YouTube. You'll have to search for Video Game Compendium. We'll have the links in the descriptions, so you can find us there.
And you're going to be doing some more stuff on Twitch?
Oh, yeah, and I stream on Twitch a lot. Well, not a lot, but I stream on Twitch, and so you can find me there.
Yeah, check them out. Got some good stuff.
I play games.
Jumping Flash was very good.
I played Jumping Flash. If you want to know about Jumping Flash, come watch. Or go check out the YouTube video, because it's on there too.
Lots of stuff out there.
Anyway, have a good day, night, morning, evening, midnight.
Have a good time, everybody.
Have a good time. We will talk to you next time.
Stop picking at that.
All right, that works.